Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. I'm Jay Zawaski with Greg Boysen. I have a peanut in my throat from a Snickers bar, I just ate. Good start. Really good start to the show. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Happy Thursday. Make sure you smash that like button for us on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page as well. Podcast listeners, you know the drill. Subscribe, rate, review, all that great stuff. A 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify goes a really long way, and it takes 15 seconds to do. So please, if you got a sec, do that for us. We would really, really appreciate it. Just the two of us today, so we're going to spend some time talking about a guy who we haven't had a ton of time to talk about this year. The Taylor Hall-Nick Folino trade happened right before the draft, right? Right before?
Right after.
After? Whenever it happened.
It was after the draft, because it was right before development camp started.
Right. So, so it kind of happened in the shadow of the draft and development camp and everything. So I feel like we haven't really had time to dive into this trade in particular. And this morning, as I do every morning, getting ready for the show, I was perusing the Athletic. And Alan Mitchell of the Athletic wrote the 5 most savvy NHL offseason moves and what they mean for 2023-24. They mentioned the Devils getting Tyler Toffoli. They mentioned the Coyotes re-signing Matias Maselli. Connor Brown going to Edmonton, and the other one is the Blackhawks acquiring Taylor Hall and Nick Folino. And I think as we look at the trade, the important piece here, not that Nick Folino isn't important, but Taylor Hall kind of checks all the boxes for what people were thinking Connor Bedard might need in so many ways. Because, okay, when we learned that the Hawks had won the draft lottery and that Connor Bedard was indeed going to be a Blackhawk, a lot of folks said, hey, we got to get some veteran leadership for him. We got to get someone who can provide a good example. I argued that they already had a lot of good veteran leadership, but bringing in Hall, a former number 1 pick, so there you go, check that box. A guy who's won a Hart Trophy, check that box. A guy who has sort of had ups and downs in his career, and a guy who now in Chicago at only 31 years old, it feels like he's been in the league forever, but he's only 31, is going to be that installed left winger on Connor Bedard's line. I really think in terms of what was available to the Blackhawks, they really could not have done better than Taylor Hall. It's almost a perfect fit.
Yeah, he comes in with 2 years left on his deal, so that fits that time frame. That it's pretty obvious. Kyle Davidson has checked summer of 2025 to really reevaluating where his team is and deciding, is this where I bring in, our Marian Hossa or, that type of thing. So, yeah, this is a guy that was a number 1 overall pick. When you look at his career numbers, you probably think, he never lived up quite to that status. Yes, he had the Hart Trophy. He's only 5 years removed from that Hart Trophy season with the Devils when he had career high 39 goals, 54 assists, 93 points. Those were all career highs. He hasn't really come close to matching those yet, but Boston went out and traded for him during the 2021 season. He was really good when he got there from Buffalo. Had 8 goals, 14 points in the last 16 regular season games. He was exactly what they wanted at the trade deadline. And then 36 goals and 97 points over 2 full seasons with the Bruins. That mostly playing down in the lineup. He's mostly been a third liner. So he's not going to be a third liner in
Absolutely
He's
not.
going to be Connor Bedard's running mate.
Power play 1, line 1. He'll be playing 20 minutes a night at least. He's going to be a huge part of this team. And by the way, it did happen before the draft. It was the 26th when that trade was made. The draft was the 28th. So it was the days before the draft.
That whole
it's a blur.
Week.
We were driving. We were driving to Nashville.
Right.
We were.
Idiots.
Of course.
Idiots.
That was the gas station stop, right?
That was Elizabethtown, Kentucky. That's right.
Yes.
How could I forget Elizabethtown,
How
Kentucky?
could we?
Shame on me.
God forgot it, but we can't. But I mean, it just makes all, and we had sort of speculated, I guess we were looking around the landscape of hockey and what veterans might be available for trade. that was a guy that the three of us said, this is kind of a perfect target. And it worked out. And the more I think about it, I don't know. It makes all sense in the world. And it's not just for the Hawks. And when Taylor Hall joined the Hawks and he did his press conference or his Zoom call, whatever you want to call it, he talked about being excited about it. And I think he means it. And I don't know if he can flat out say, playing with Connor Bedard is going to raise my numbers and likely get me another pretty decent contract.
Probably.
Maybe it's with Chicago. Maybe it's not. But if you're getting 65, 70 points from Taylor Hall, which is not, I mean,
he had
it's
20
not a huge
goals and
stretch.
61 points a year ago.
Right.
In Boston.
Right.
Not playing with Connor Bedard. Not
Yeah.
playing on the top line. So, I mean, I would say pencil in at least 20 goals for Taylor Hall. He had 16 last year playing in the bottom six.
Yeah, and he had, in the 2021-22 season, 15 of those points were on a power play. So it's not like he was just getting fat off the power play. Same with last year. He had 4 goals on the power play and 8 points of his 36 came on the power play last year. So he wasn't getting a ton of power play time. I just think that he is the perfect, like you said, running mate for Connor Bedard, and I really think it's gonna pay off huge for not only the Hawks, not only for Bedard, but for Taylor Hall too.
Yeah, and we talk about line combinations, but I know we've talked about it before, and a lot of people say it. It's more about finding pairs
Too, yeah.
and you've got Hall and Bedard. I think they're great complements to each other. And I think your second pair will probably be Lucas Reichel and Athanasiou. And then you can swap out who's ever
Mix and
playing on
match,
the other side.
yeah.
Kershev, Radish, Donato, whoever you want to throw in. But those are your guys. And when we were in it, now it's all coming back to me. Yes, it was before the draft. But when we were in Nashville in our Airbnb with our colleagues from PHNX and DNVR, was having a conversation with Steve Peters, Petey's of the PHNX Coyotes, and Taylor Hall spent some time with the Coyotes, and he said, you're going to love covering him. He goes, he's a guy, much like what we're used to all those years from Patrick Kane, wants to be on the ice when the game's on the line.
Yeah.
When there's a big moment, he said there were times, I think it was still was Alex Tanguay the coach at that time? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I can bring that up real quick. But there were times where he wanted to jump on the ice. Rick Tocchet was the coach that season. But there were times he wanted to jump on the ice, and Tocchet literally would have to grab his jersey and say, no, it's not your turn. So he wants to be on the ice in the big moments. He's going to be Connor Bedard's line mate. Guess what, Taylor? You're going to be on the ice for the big moments.
All of them.
Yeah. When you're down a goal, you're on the ice. You're up a goal, you're on the ice. He's going to get all those chances. He's going to be playing a ton. He's going to be playing a lot more than he played the last couple seasons. Last year in Boston, averaged under 16 minutes a game, little over 16 minutes. So for his career in Boston, he averaged just over 16 minutes a game. You could probably put that up closer to 20 this year.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be on the ice with Bedard. He's going to be on the ice for the number one power play. He's going to get his chances. He's still an effective hockey player. And the fact that he won't turn 32 until November is crazy to think, because he's been around for a long, long time.
Yeah. 13-year career already.
Yeah. So, and again, he's going to be here with Bedard. He's not going to be a trade deadline target. He's going to be here for the full season.
Mm-mm.
Maybe next year at the deadline, he's a guy that you think of moving. Especially if his numbers have taken an inflation by being on Connor Bedard's line for a season and a half. But you don't have to worry about that. It's not Max Domi where you brought him here to trade him.
Yeah, right.
There was no doubt all season long Max Domi was getting traded, even though there was that back and forth love affair between him and the city and all that stuff, and everybody wanted him to come back, us included. You knew he was getting traded. Taylor Hall's not getting traded this year. There's not a lot of guys on this roster that are going to get moved at the deadline. I mean, you may, but there's no clear-cut guys. I'm not saying they're not trading anybody this year. I'm sure they will. If someone, comes calling and wants that extra year of Connor Murphy, I'm sure they'll try and make a deal.
I wonder if like Folino and Perry would be tradable.
Maybe. I mean, Folino.
I think it all depends too, like where they're at. Like if they're anywhere close to sniffing a wild card spot, like instead of there's some experience. I think there's some value in even if they don't make it. Let's say they're within 5 to 7 points of a wild card spot, which, okay, it's an optimistic thought, but if Bedard is a point per game guy and Taylor Hall is close to that, and you get growth from Reichel and you get growth elsewhere, right? And another year under Luke and all those sort of things, it's not the hardest thing to imagine. I think there's some value in just competing for that spot and for kind of rewarding the guys who like Seth Jones and Connor Murphy who and like to an extent Reichel, Radish, like these guys who have been here through the down times and say, look, last year sucked. You guys were cool. You guys played it like pros. We're close to a spot. We're not just going to sell off for the sake of selling off. Like realistically, what are you going to get for Corey Perry or Nick Folino at the deadline?
4th round pick, maybe.
Yeah, right. And
worth
like,
it?
And like Kyle Davidson said, before the draft, like there's only like there is such a thing as having too many draft picks.
Yeah, and part of the reason why Kyle Davidson went and in these trades the last couple of years, getting picks in 25 in 2024 and in 2025 was so he didn't have to trade his whole roster every year.
Yeah.
Eventually, you're going to want some sort of continuity. You're going to want some guys to like finish what they started. You're going to need some of that. So I don't think he's going to be forced to trade guys. It's not going to be a major sell-off like this year. I don't know. Maybe something crazy happens. Like we're all expecting the Hawks to be better than last year. Very low bar to jump over.
Yeah, right.
We're not expecting them to be in the race for the number 1 overall pick. Maybe it goes sideways. Maybe guys get hurt. Maybe it's March and all of a sudden they're like 2 points out of being the worst record in the league. And you say, screw it, trade anybody who's producing.
Sure.
Let's go for the number 1 pick again. Okay. But I think a lot would have to go wrong for that to happen. But I mean,
I don't know.
Nobody expected the Ducks to finish with the worst record. Nobody expected the Blue Jackets to be where they were last year. So, but there's not going to be a lot of pressure to trade guys like there was last year. Last year was you got to trade Kane. You got to trade Taves.
Yeah.
You got to trade Domi. Athanasiou, what's he still doing here? Trade McCabe. Trade Connor. Trade everybody.
Right.
There's not going to be that pressure this year. And there's not a lot of tradable guys this year. There's not a lot of expiring contracts. At least anything that's going to get you real value.
Exactly.
Don't trade guys just to trade them. You had Corey Perry here the day he had his the press conference, introductory press conference. He was here with his family house shopping.
Yeah.
He has his small son, 6, 7 years old with him. That's something you look at and go, okay, they're coming here. They're buying a house in Chicago. Why are you really going to trade him in March for a 6th round draft pick? I mean, is it worth it? Sometimes, giving that veteran that like, hey, unless I get blown out of the water here, you're good. You're going to stay. You're going to have that security. Or unless you come to me and say, please, trade me to a contender.
Well, and we've talked about this before, too. There's value in respecting and honoring veteran players. And people around the league notice, like, hey, you know what? The Hawks did not trade Corey Perry. They stood by their word, and I saw that, and I appreciate that. And the other thing, too, is remember when the Hawks signed Chris Kunitz a couple years back, like he immediately became a Hawks coach. And the way Luke Richardson talks about Corey Perry, maybe Corey Perry's looking at this is my last year. He's 38, right? 38, 39. He's only got so much time left in the game, and maybe he's looking at his post-playing career, and he hears the way that Luke Richardson's talking about him as this guy who's super beneficial and has great advice for these young players, and he's been through the ringer.
Next year's Chris Kunitz, and he's making passes every day at practice, working his way up the system.
There you go.
Or he's wearing a suit on the Blackhawks bench.
Sure.
Oh, God, that would just... People would just
That's
love
like
that.
it's always when I see old goons, like when I see Steve Ott as a
Steve
coach.
Ott could be a coach. Anybody
Steve
could be
Ott.
a coach.
Yeah, exactly. But like Perry, that's part of the reason that Luke Richardson wanted Corey Perry here was because of his influence on young players. There's so many ways to go here, and Jason says in the chat, like, what if Hall's having a great year and somebody offers a first. Okay, well then you listen.
Yeah.
Right? Sure, of course. Like, what are the odds of that?
Nobody's untouchable.
I don't know.
But I don't think anybody's giving you a first.
Well,
for
Bedard's
Taylor Hall.
untouchable.
Well, yeah, right.
But that's it.
Like, yeah, I don't think anybody's even if Taylor Hall has like 25 goals by the All-Star break and is just tearing it up. I think most people GMs are gonna be like, well, we don't have a Connor Bedard for Taylor Hall to play with.
Yeah.
So when we get him, those numbers are gonna go down a little bit.
Exactly.
So we're not gonna give you like. I don't see that happening, but if somebody does, you at least consider it.
You take the call, that's for sure.
You at least consider it, or is that first round pick worth more than what Taylor Hall's doing for Connor Bedard?
Yeah. Well, I think it all matters too based on how the year is going. Like, just not to shift it, but the Cubs, who looked like they were going to be sellers, all of a sudden get hot for whatever reason. Yeah, they played some trash ass teams in the White Sox. Sorry, Steven, and the Cardinals, but especially the White Sox. And Jed Hoyer said, "All right, respect. Now we're going to buy. You've earned the right for me to go and get some help for you."
And they've scored 36 runs the last 2 games.
Yes,
I mean,
but, like,
there's something to that. The
players
team,
respond to it. You
yes,
you can't forever operate as if it's a video game and you're just trying to stockpile draft assets.
Knowing
and I'm not
that your
saying,
front office believes in you goes a long way.
it's huge, and having the ability to play in games that matter. And look, we have the rest of the summer to get into how good is this team going to be, because yeah, they lost Jonathan Taves, they lost Patrick Kane, they lost Jake McCabe, and they lost Max Domi. Those are big, significant losses for this team. But you expect to jump from Reichel. And Alex Stalock,
your
too.
best goalie of last year.
Jesus. Who would have thought he
Not even your by far best goalie from
by
last
a country
season.
Mile. Exactly.
So yeah, there's a lot of holes. As bad as that team was, all the best players from that team, minus Seth Jones, aren't back this year.
Right. And look, like,
And there's going to be a lot of growing pains with Connor Bedard. He's not going to be Wayne Gretzky from day one.
yeah.
There will be some nights where you're like, uh-oh, like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Hopefully not many,
Yeah.
but
And it'll be good to have a guy who's been through all that.
yeah, exactly.
And Hall came straight to the NHL, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so,
I mean, the same way, drafted number 1 overall, and in a pressure cooker town like Edmonton, yeah, the Blackhawks are original 6, and yeah, it's a big market. There's no pressure on the Blackhawks.
not really. Not right now.
I mean, yeah, maybe the diehards will start putting some pressure on you, but that's like what? 30,000 people in a city of 8 million?
well, plus I think
It's not like being the Bears quarterback.
Yeah,
It's
but
like the Blackhawks, yes, the Blackhawks have their diehard fans. Most of them hang out with us every day.
And we appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. We're diehard fans before we decided to cover and pursue this career. But let's be honest, in this town, unless they're in the Stanley Cup final, most fans are kind of like, oh, yeah, that's right. We have a hockey team,
keep
too.
a side eye on it,
It's not
right?
the Bears. It's not the Cubs. It's not the Bulls. I mean, when the Sox are in the playoffs, some people care. They get more people to care than they usually do.
we're just taking shots. Steven,
We have to get there first.
Just-
Well,
wouldn't
yeah.
know.
I mean, every 10 years, you guys matter for 4 games.
Painfully true, yeah.
Tell me when I'm lying.
You're not. You're not lying. Yeah, it's and I think too, like, the people that would put pressure on the Hawks, and those diehards, they also get what's going on here. They understand the situation. They've understood what the GM has said. Most fans I know have bought in. Like, they might be a little frustrated, but this year for me, it's a Bedard party.
Absolutely.
That's going to be the mindset of every fan at that
It's a victory
stadium.
lap for sucking so hard last year.
Yeah. Hawks lose 5-3. Connor Bedard had 3 points.
Good night.
Good night. Right?
Or
It was
Hawks-
like every Bears
Hawks
game.
lose 5-4. Connor Bedard 2 goals. Lucas Reichel 2 goals. That's a victory.
Think about the Bears season last year. They won 1. Wait, how many games did they win? 2?
I think they won
3?
the first 2 games. They won 3 total.
They
Three
won
total
3,
games.
Yeah.
And most Bears fans
It's
think
one
of
of the
last
best Bears
season as
seasons in a long
as a
time.
fun season.
It was.
Because you saw signs of a young quarterback being the guy. And it was like, we know the rest of the team sucks, but damn it,
Now
this guy
year,
was entertaining.
There's some pressure this year.
There is pressure this year, and it's
Now
different.
you got some legit NFL players on offense to go with that quarterback. So now it's time to do it.
Right.
So, yeah, but next year, this coming up season is going to be a different experience. It's going to be fun again. Last year wasn't fun very often. And usually
There were fun moments.
fun nights were
Yeah.
like the nights that like things happened to the Blackhawks. It just happened to be fun. Like Alex Ovechkin scoring a hat trick for 800 goals, or the Mariana Hossa night. You know, the Patrick Kane last game where he almost had the goal in overtime was a lot of fun, and Jonathan Taves last game was a lot of fun. But those are also like somber moments because those are the last times we'll ever see those guys playing for the Blackhawks on the United Center ice. So
Yeah.
they were fun in the moment, but as we look back on them, we're going to be like, man, that kind of was a weird night. This year will be fun
Yeah.
because, yes, Connor Bedard's going to be there, but there's going to be guys that actually matter for the future. Last year, there was none of that. Last year, it was all about who can we trade? What can we get for this guy?
Every show.
Last year was a season about endings, saying goodbye, the end of the era, all of that stuff. Now this year is the first year of a new beginning. Connor Bedard is going to be here for a long, long time. Maybe Lucas Reichel's there the whole time. We're going to see, we've got Philip Kurashev on his second contract, his earn it contract.
Yeah, definitely.
What are we going to get from him? Was Taylor Radish's 20 goals last year a fluke? Can he expand on that? Is he going to be a guy going forward? These young defensemen we got coming up, Vlasic, Phillips, Kaiser, whoever else, are they going to be able to stay at the NHL level, be effective at the NHL level? Arvid Soderblom, what's he going to do in a full season in the NHL? Is he going to take that next step? Things that actually matter to the future of this franchise. Yes, last year mattered to the future because you tore it all down to get Connor Bedard. Now you got him. Now you got to start taking steps forward. And, I think we'll talk a lot more about the Rockford IceHogs this year, too, because for the first time since they've been the Blackhawks affiliate, they are very, very important. They were kind of important
last year. You had Reichel and Vlasic and Mitchell.
This year, they are going to be so important for the next 5-6 years and beyond.
Yeah.
As we mentioned, when Mario revealed his prospect pyramid, we mentioned that third tier is the most important tier. You constantly have to have guys in that will be, NHL replacement level player type guys or better. You need to have that tier stocked at all times, and those are the guys that are going to be in Rockford. So Anders Sorensen, if he's the guy going forward, for the first time since he's been in this organization, there's a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure. Because last 2 years, all he had to worry about was getting Reichel ready for the NHL.
Which it seems like he did.
Yes. And people criticize Derek King. Derek King got a lot of guys ready for the NHL. Everybody's favorite former Blackhawk, Brendan Hagel, he took major steps playing for Derek King. He got Mackenzie Entwistle on the path to the NHL. And we joke about Mackenzie Entwistle. Mackenzie Entwistle may not be in the NHL the full season this year. But if you saw Mackenzie Entwistle on opening night, his pro debut of the Rockford IceHogs, and you saw the player now, you'd be shocked.
Well,
he made huge strides.
He played in most of the games last year when he was healthy.
Yeah.
And I know the Hawks roster was bad, but I would say this. He wasn't necessarily helping, but he wasn't hurting you.
No.
He's a guy you can put out there and say, don't hurt me for 90 seconds.
Yeah. But, when I was excited to see him his first season in Rockford was the first season I covered the AHL. And I was excited to see him on opening night because he was that guy we got in the Marian Hossa trade. And it was like he had some couple of really good junior seasons before that. And I was like, all right, let's see. Because everybody said, we gave away Marian Hossa's contract pretty much for nothing. But this Entwistle kid might be the hidden gem of that. And then I saw his first game. I was like, yikes.
Nope.
That is not an NHL player. No. But by the end of that first season, he had started skating better, changed his game, realized he wasn't going to be the offensive threat he was in juniors. And that was under Derek King, and Anders Sorensen was there too. So they've got some success stories. But we're definitely going to pay more attention to the IceHogs this year too, because there's, the young defensemen are there. Colton Dock will be there. Jalen Lightman will be there. Drew Comezzo is going to be there.
Yeah.
Guys that are important to this rebuild are going to be playing in Rockford, and that's going to be for the next few years. So the IceHogs are finally part of the actual development of this franchise.
And before we take a break, as we talk about that middle tier, Mackenzie Entwistle was a third-round pick, 69th nice overall in 2017. That's kind of as we talk about the middle tier of Mario's pyramid, it takes these guys a little bit of time to become NHL players. So as much as we love these drafts and we try to project these guys like Samuel Savoie, another salute, and a bunch of guys, like, they're still years away from being NHL contributors. And look, I don't think Mackenzie Entwistle is a finished product by any means. No. But like you said, like, he might just be blocked out of the NHL because they brought in so many pieces that are NHL ready and are going to play.
Yeah, I don't have a family.
It's interesting. Yeah, he does not have a family. So where's he going to go? Who's going to live within Rockford? He's going to live under a bridge.
They've got a few out there.
Yeah, they do.
You might have to kick a couple tenants out, but they got some out there.
He can scrap, that's all. All right, coming up on the show, we're going to talk about Nick Folino on the other side of this break and what he's going to bring, because he was part of that athletic article too. We also had ChatGPT generate a cast for a Slap Shot remake. My daughter and I did this on the car on the way here. So I'm going to unveil to Greg and the audience what ChatGPT thought the 2023 production of Slap Shot would look like.
Spoiler alert. Jay had to explain to me what ChatGPT is.
Yes.
You started telling me, I'm like, well, wait, what?
It's an AI, I don't know, like an AI search engine, I guess you'd call it. You can ask it questions or say, like, hey, write me a nice email about this subject, and it can kind of do it for you.
I'm not going to lie. I use it for work a lot. I mean, come up with a good headline here. It comes up with something like that.
The headlines are great.
Sweet. I'm going to start using it for my articles.
Write me an article about this.
Write me the rebuild report.
And then just change words. Yeah, exactly. So we're going to get to that. But before we do, we've been talking a lot about the future. And if you want to improve your future, you can do that at Lewis University. Students are just like you with full-time jobs, families, and full-time sports fandoms. Go back to school to earn a respected degree at my alma mater, Lewis University. It's 35 miles southwest of Chicago in Romeoville and is ranked as one of U.S. News and World Report's top-tier colleges. That place, man, that's all they do is rank stuff. U.S. News and World Reports. Cars, universities.
U.S. News and World Rankings.
Right. Makes more sense. Anyway, they're a good one. They're ranked as one of the U.S. best. So there you go. And Lewis partners with numerous employers for tuition discounts and offers evening, online, and blended formats to help you balance work, family, and education. Their faculty brings real-world experience and instruction to the classroom, which is super relevant to whatever career you might be pursuing. They also offer career support and academic resources for adult students, and really all the students that went to Lewis. I graduated in 2001, and still, if I need something from Lewis, they're happy to help all the time. And if you're looking to complete your bachelor's or master's degree or enroll in a professional certificate program, Lewis has the right one for you by offering several career-focused programs that will set you up for success. They've got the one I really like because it sounds cool is the cybersecurity grad program. Lewis is a Department of Homeland Security Center of Academic Excellence in Cybersecurity, providing students with scholarship funding not available elsewhere. They've also got computer science, which has 8-week sessions that can be completed in 1 year with concentrations in software engineering, AI, as we talk about ChatGPT, cybersecurity, digital forensics, enterprise, and cloud computing. These are the jobs of the future, and you can get certified and get degrees from Lewis University. Discover how a degree from Lewis can help you build a better world. Learn more at lewisu.edu/you-can-do-this. And speaking of college, Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. A place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. They've got everything you need to elevate your summer. And I know as marijuana and those things have become legalized, there's a lot of folks who are a little bit intimidated by the buying process and a little bit intimidated by walking into a dispensary. The folks at Sunnyside are there to help. They're not going to judge you. They're not going to laugh at you for not knowing exactly what it is you're looking for. How many of us back in the day would just buy it from our friend and say, I don't know what this does or what it is, but sure, I need it and it's great, right? You can walk into a place like Sunnyside and say, I need help sleeping, or I have some anxiety and I would really like something to help me loosen up before I go out with friends. I want to feel high. I don't want to feel high. I want to, whatever, have a good night's sleep. Like, that's primarily what I use cannabis for, is to sleep. Whatever your need is, they will help you get it at Sunnyside. It is Illinois' favorite dispensary. And let me tell you about some of my favorite brands from Sunnyside. Mindy's. The gummies are incredible. They are designed by James Beard award-winning chef Mindy Siegel and Cresco Labs. They've got these black cherry gummies that they just make you so relaxed, so calm. My friend says it's like taking a warm bath. It really is just like, if you're feeling a little edgy, want to take that off, those Mindy's edibles are great. I love the Good News vapes and Good News gummies. I take the Counting Sheep. Take half of one of those every night. Sleep through the night. I've never been able to do that in my life. These are life-changing. The Good News Counting Sheep are life-changing gummies for me. And I also enjoy their Friday and Me Time rechargeable vape pens. Great stuff. But they've got all the great brands you know and love. Cresco, High Supply, Floracal, Wonder, Remedy, and many more. Through August, head to sunnyside.shop and use code CHGO25 at checkout for 25% off your total order. One use per customer. It's not stackable with other promotions, but it's not only for new customers. Anyone can use the code. Pick up everything you need to elevate your summer. You must be 21 plus or an Illinois Med card holder. Again, sunnyside.shop, code CHGO25. The other part, sorry, were you going to say something?
I was just going to say, I also heard you can get a good bowl of soup at Mindy's. Or is that
Lindy's? Lindy's and Gertie's? You talking about the chili?
No, I was talking about this. That was supposed to be a lame Seinfeld joke.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is that Mendy's?
I've seen a lot of Seinfelds, but I don't have a lot of the little references miss me. Like, I could do that with The Simpsons all day, but I can't do it with Seinfeld. But yeah, sorry, that went over my head.
Swing and a miss.
Well, hey, man. The other part of the article from The Athletic this morning that was mentioned with Taylor Hall is Nick Folino. And as we talk about, that's a guy in a one-year deal, again brought in to, I think, not just provide leadership. I think saying that about Nick Folino is underselling him a little bit. He had 26 points in 60 games. He was a quality contributor and a really good player for a really long time. And I think Nick Folino's got a little bit left in the tank too. I know he's 35. And sometimes when you see these guys late in their career join, what will probably be the last or second to last teams, they have a big fall off. But when we talk about Taylor Hall getting opportunities, Folino's going to get some too. Because you look up and down the roster, he's one of probably their top 7 or 8 forwards for sure. And if some guy starts to struggle on the power play or there's injuries, he's going to get some power play time. I'm quite excited about the Folino addition too. Yeah,
I'm not expecting him to, light up the stat sheet, but he still maybe get you. I mean, listen, Nick Folino is a major upgrade from what was on the bottom 6 last year. Like, no offense to Juju Arcara, but give me Nick Folino over Juju Arcara
hell yeah.
any day. Or, again, no offense, Reese Johnson, give
Colin
me Nick
Blackwell.
Folino. All those roving cast of characters that played on the bottom 6. Shout out to shirtless dark guy who's wearing a green hat.
Oh, he's got a bucket hat on today.
So yeah, it's an upgrade. You got a guy that not necessarily is going to score a lot of goals, but at least he threatens to score a goal at times. There were a lot of times last year, half the game was guys on the ice that you knew couldn't score if they were, if the puck had a GPS to the back of the net, they'd still miss.
Yeah.
Like, you knew there was no threat of scoring. Now, at least you have guys that, like, hey, he used to be able to score a goal. Maybe he could score again.
Yeah.
And, yeah, he's going to bring you some toughness and just hockey smarts on the ice. He's going to know where to be, what to do. He's not going to take bad penalties in crucial moments. And I'm kind of looking forward to when the Blackhawks and Wild played. Maybe we get some Nick versus Marcus Folino.
That'd be fun.
Marcus Folino can get a little spicy when he has to.
Yes, he can.
We saw in the playoffs, he can get fired up, and he's ready to step up for his teammates. We've seen Nick Folino do it. Remember when his now teammate Corey Perry kneed John Tavares in the head? He was the first guy there that went after him. So it's an upgrade. There's no doubt. And I know he was kind of like an afterthought. And yeah, that the Hawks are definitely overpaying for him this year, but he's going to bring a lot of value to that contract on things that don't show up on stat sheets, things that won't even show up on the ice. He's going to bring a lot of things. And plus, I'm looking forward to spending a year covering him because very outgoing guy, great quote. He's going to be a guy that we'll get to talk to a lot. We'll probably have a lot of good sound bites from him on the podcast throughout the season.
Well, I'm really glad you mentioned, Folino and also, Corey Perry as options aside from Kara and Entwistle and Blackwell and those guys. These are guys who have scored at the NHL level, and yeah, they're older, they're at the tail ends of their careers, but they've at least proven they can do it. None of those guys we mentioned, and Kara's had a nice long NHL career too. He's just never been a scorer, right? And so as you talk about what's been lost in terms of Domi and Kane and Taves and all those things, you've also gotten deeper by adding, and we haven't mentioned Ryan Donato yet either.
That's an amazing depth. Yeah, and he's going to be a very valuable player on this team. Again, not a guy that's going to be an all-star. He's not going to score 30 goals. He's not going to have 60 points. He might give you 40, 45 points. But the Donato, again, another veteran, savvy player, not as old as Folino or Hall, but he's been through it. He was on the Kraken last year on the upset the Avalanche in the first round, made the playoffs. He's been on other postseason teams. His versatility is going to be
center wing.
Center wing.
Yep,
he can play up or down. Put him on the fourth line one night. You can put him on the second line next night, and you're not going to miss anything. Dependable. I think he's going to quickly become one of Luke Richardson's favorite players, just because he knows he's got a guy that he could literally put anywhere on the lineup and trust him.
Yeah, and when you look at the kind of guys that Davidson and Richardson have brought in since Richardson got the job, there is a trend there. There is a style. There is a certain, all these guys kind of fit the mold of what Luke Richardson has preached as a coach. What they've drafted has all sort of checked. Even though they're drafting different styles of players, you're still getting versatility, high motor, character, all these sort of things. And I know when you say character and you laugh about Corey Perry, but I'll tell you one thing. Corey Perry's teammates love him. And there's a reason at 38 years old he's still getting NHL contracts, right? He's a pain in the ass to play against, but most guys would love to have Corey Perry on their team.
I've been saying it since, remember going back to that show where we talked about Taylor Hall being a trade target possibly, and that came to fruition. That was also the same episode I predicted the Corey Perry coming to the Blackhawks. As I've said numerous times this summer, it's going to take 2 periods for Blackhawk fans to fall in love with Corey Perry.
Yeah.
Hawks fans, he's going to be a popular player. And I think a lot of that has to do because of the built-up decades worth of hatred you have for him. But when you see him doing dirtbag things for your team in order to protect your guys, you're going to be like, that's our pudwag.
Yeah, as soon as some pudwag takes a shot at Connor Bedard, and Corey Perry's right there.
Yep.
Maybe it's a little later in the game, but
he won't forget.
He'll find you.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
And then he
him.
scores a power play goal because he could still shoot the puck.
Right. Yeah. I'm just so excited for the season to start. And last year, look, we love hockey and we're never going to complain about hockey. And there's nothing to complain about even last year. But I cannot wait to just do a post-game show where we talk about the game and talk about the dudes on the ice and how they performed instead of what does this mean for this guy's trade value or how is this going to affect the
Blackhawks won tonight, but thank God the Blue Jackets and Ducks lost, so it's all good. Or whatever. We're not going to, I can't wait to break down and analyze 82 games this year without worrying about all this peripheral noise. And I know we'll still have some people in our chat. We're already craving for Macklin Celebrini. Stop it.
If it happens, great.
Sure.
They're just not going to go out of their way to make it happen.
You're making me not like Macklin Celebrini, so knock it off.
Exactly.
Just like you've made me not like Andrew Crystal of all the chatter we had from him. I don't know. Stop it. So let's just pump the brakes on that. If it happens, it happens. Hey, trust me. I hope the perfect scenario, Blackhawks finish with like the 9th worst record in the league and somehow still win the draft.
Sure.
So the people that said it was rigged will cry even harder.
Yeah, it's rigged anyway.
And then we get it again. So like, that'd be great. Or they move up to number 2, finish 11th and move up to number 2. I would love to see it because I'm running out of NHL tiers to brew my morning coffee with. So I'm going to need to restock.
Yeah, we need more.
That.
We need to restock those.
So yeah, but just let whatever happen this year, and let's be critical and analytical of a whole bunch of guys that may or may not matter when this team is good again.
Right. Michael Evans says the T-shirt idea with, quote, "He's our Pudwack" just keeps sounding better and better every time we discuss Corey Perry. I just, I don't know if I'll declare him a Pudwack once he's on the ice and defending the Hawks players.
Could you do Pudwackian things and not be a Pudwack? You could act like a Pudwack without being a Pudwack.
That's like when you get in an argument with your ex-girlfriend, not current wife, and say you're acting crazy. And I didn't say you are crazy.
Yikes.
I said you're acting crazy.
That went over well.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore.
Did you quickly tell her to calm down after you said that?
Just calm down.
That always has the opposite effect.
Maybe if you smiled more, Yes, none of these things are advisable.
Hey,
fortunately, I've not learned many of these from my own mistakes.
If you're smart, all you have to do is say that once, and you'll learn never to say it again.
Yeah, there you go. No, I will not. No, I cannot advise that. But I think some sort of Corey Perry design is a good idea. I just don't know if we can. I don't know if we want to sell a shirt that says Pudwack on it. That's a question for Denver.
I mean, Pudwack has kind of become our.
It is our thing.
It's become our thing. It's been organic. We were always told let the shirts be organic, let it grow. Well, we've grown the Pudwacks.
With the Pudwack garden.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, it's a radish garden.
Yeah,
I'm getting my things mixed
too
up.
hot in there for radishes. It's the right temperature for Pudwacks, though.
It is like a greenhouse in there. That's for sure. No, I just, like I said, I'm just very much looking forward to the season. I imagine Hawks fans are too, and I want to be clear too. Like, yeah, it's awesome that Connor Bedard is a Blackhawk and is going to be there all year to watch him grow and watch him dominate and all those sort of things. But overall, it's just kind of, it's like last year you called it year 0, right? So this is year 1.
Yeah.
And now is the time when we're going to start to see that arrow, instead of being level, start to go up.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's going to be peaks and valleys, and there'll be games where, like you said, maybe Bedard struggles or Lucas Reichel goes 5 or 6 games with like only a point or 2 and isn't a huge factor. But man, it's going to be fun to talk about. Even if it's not positive for a short term, like, hey, Reichel's got to do more. He's got to score more. He hasn't been impactful. What's the deal? It's talking about hockey that matters and games that matter.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
I want to cover a team that matters and cover a team that could be fun and spend 82 nights talking about it with passionate fans. Like last season, all right, I picture the Blackhawks under he who shall not be named as a house that completely burnt to the ground.
Yeah.
Just nothing left but ashes.
And Seth Jones.
Yeah. Last year was getting in there with a demolition crew, cleaning out all the burnt stuff, getting it all down, and then relaying the foundation. Now you have the foundation. This year is about putting the wooden framework of a new house up.
Yeah.
And then each season you start adding on. Then you start putting the walls and the windows in. Then the fancy kitchen and the bathroom with the bidet that I hear is real nice.
Awesome.
And
very helpful this week.
The three-car garage and all that stuff. But you've cleared out the rubble. You've got the foundation. This year, it's about putting the framework up.
That's it. That's perfect. I keep telling you guys, like, every now and again on my way here, I just drive by the United Center, like, soon. I will fast forward this summer. Let's fast forward.
You know what?
August.
We're already in August.
I know.
Already in August, and that means September is just little less than 4 weeks away. So we're almost there. So once we get to September, things are going to roll real quick.
We're going to make it.
And, so...
Well, the future's bright. That's what we know.
We do know the future is bright, and that's For bright things, we need Shady Rays. Take on the sun and your very bright hockey future with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered for the warm weather that we are currently experiencing with premium polarized shades at a very affordable price. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers you a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair we ever worn. Best pair of sunglasses I've ever worn. Durable frames and extremely clear optics for all my outdoor adventures, like getting stuck in Lollapalooza traffic to get to the office today. That's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacement. If you were to take your pair to Lollapalooza and then forget where you put your glasses while you're there because you're under the influence of some sort of substance, they are going to send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. They don't care what kind of substance made you lose your sunglasses. So you can wear your Shady Rays with confidence at Lollapalooza or wherever you're going this weekend because they have your back long after you purchase. Together with their customers, Shady Rays is providing much-needed support to nonprofit partners across the U.S. through Shady Rays Impact. They're doing everything from building play sets for pediatric cancer patients to providing young adults with MS the outdoor adventure of a lifetime. Shady Rays is making an impact in your community and others like it now and for years to come. And if you don't love your Shady Rays, but you're going to because you guys aren't weirdos here at CHGO Black. No Pudwax here. Only Pudwax hate their Shady Rays. But in case you're a Pudwack, you're going to change them for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's absolutely no risk when you shop. And just for you lovely non-Pudwack listeners of ours here at CHGO Blackhawks, Shady Rays is giving out their very best deal of the season. Go to ShadyRays.com, use the promo code CHGO at checkout, and you're going to get 50% off all orders of 2 or more pairs of their polarized sunglasses that have been rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. And you want to get your order in now so you have an awesome pair of Shady Rays to wear to Cog Hill on August 25th. For the first ever, the inaugural CHGO Kickoff Classic at Cog freaking Hill.
Yeah,
they're letting us in.
That's real exciting. I'm very excited about that. I see Mario is cheating on his off day today, is out golfing and taking advantage. He's good, though. I think he actually golfs regularly, unlike you and I, who you
had a
never.
good swing,
I haven't swung a club since my buddy Dave's bachelor party at Top Golf. And the only reason I remember when that was because I was listening to the Blackhawks, Antoniemi beating the Florida Panthers in Finland. That opening weekend.
The Alex Nylander game. He scored the first goal of the season that year.
No. This was Antony.
Oh, yeah, 2010 you're talking
29.
about.
29. Yeah. When they opened that season in Finland, Christopher Huey lost the first game. Niemi started the second game. They won. I was paying attention on my phone to that game while at Top Golf at a bachelor party. So
I didn't know Top Golf's been around that long.
The one in Schaumburg has. And that was the first time I was ever there and the last time I was ever there. So that was the last time I swung a golf club.
All right, well, you will not be. I know you will not be swinging clubs at Cog Hill, but I will be attempting to. And you should join us. It is, like Greg said, August 25th. At Cog Hill. You want to register, you want to sign up, allchgo.com, navigate over to our events tab, and you'll see it as the first event there right above our Crosstown Series takeovers and our Bears road trip. Keep an eye on those things, too. If you're a diehard, you're going to save as well. Your entry fee includes 18 holes with the cart, an exclusive Pins and Aces tee gift, access to our limited edition Pins and Aces and CHGO Polo. You see it there on your screen. Hole contests, great giveaways and prizes for contest holes, winning teams in last place, and you'll get lunch, drinks, and a ceremony after the round. Cannot wait. It's going to be a great time. Allchgo.com. Again, head over to that events tab, and you'll find it, and you could join us. Very much looking forward to it.
If you're a diehard, you save money on all of our events. We've got another Crosstown Takeover coming up in a couple weeks. August 16th, I believe, is the date, where we take over Wrigley Field. We did the South Side one, which looked like it was going to be a fun night for our White Sox crew, and then the Cubs do what they do of late. They say, down 7 runs? Who cares? Let's just start hitting. But you're going to save 20% on your ticket for the Crosstown Series if you want to go and join us at Wrigley Field on August 16th. In addition to the ticket to the game and a pregame meetup at one of the Wrigleyville bars, you're going to get one of those sweet T-shirts, whichever one you want, the north side or the south side. Keep your eye on that event tab. There's going to be a lot of fun stuff coming up this fall. Yeah. We're going to do our Bears tailgates again. You'll save money on the tickets for that. There's going to be some fun Blackhawk events this year. Multiple fun Blackhawk events to keep your eyes open for. You're going to save money on those. So the Die Hard membership pays for itself.
Yep.
Right out of the box, because you're going to get a free shirt. Maybe one of our 98 shirts. You're going to get it for free. Whichever one you want, you get it for free on day one. So it's the best value in all of Chicago sports.
All right, before we get to the 2023 cast of Slap Shot as named by ChatGPT, got a comment I want to get to from Lawrence in the chat. He says, there it is. I don't think we're at the part where things start going up yet. I still think there's another bottom 3 in the league season in our immediate future. I don't know about bottom 3, but I think when I said arrow pointing up, it wasn't so much like skyrocketing through the standings as much as you're seeing guys that matter develop.
Yeah.
And you're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. You know, like those 07, 08 Blackhawks, you know, you're like, oh, there's something here. And then you start to add pieces, and all of a sudden, guys develop, and you start filling in these holes, and like, holy shit, now we've got a really, really good team. Will they win 3 Stanley Cups? That remains to be seen. But you can see, I already can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. But I think next year is really going to show you, like, all right, and look, if we want to be negative about it, if Reichel is not a factor like we expect him to be, then you start to ask some hard questions about him. And, like, you know, but at the moment now, things seem to be trending upwards, even though the standings might not necessarily reflect that, because there are going to be some growing pains.
No, this is still a rebuilding team.
Yeah.
Winning the draft lottery, getting Connor Bedard did not end the rebuild.
It shortens it, but it doesn't end it.
It took a year off of it.
Right.
But a year off of it at the end.
Correct.
Not a year off of it right now.
Yeah.
We're still a rebuilding team. Nobody's saying Stanley Cup playoffs, here we come. But you're going to start to see guys that you can identify as core players.
Right.
And that's exciting.
And then Windy City Hockey had an idea for our Pudwack shirt. I think he said it should be a duck wearing a CHGO Blackhawks logo shirt, and it's saying he's our Pudwack. So does everyone identify Corey Perry as a duck? I know I do.
I think so. But he could be a duck wearing a CHGO Blackhawks shirt with a cowboy hat and a bolt of lightning in his hand.
There you go.
And a thing of poutine in his other hand.
That's there you go.
or like a Molson.
The idea is just they just design themselves.
Yeah.
They really do. Yeah, something. I like the ideas. Keep them coming, because the creative part of things, not my strong suit. That's for sure. Designing shirts, and even when I do, they don't really come to fruition. All right, you ready for the 2023 cast of Slap Shot?
Lay it on me.
All right, I'm not going to have you guess because it's impossible.
No, because I don't know anybody that's current.
All right, I will say that ChatGPT, the AI, I don't even know what you call it, generator
App.
Ask it a question and it will answer it for you.
Sure.
Recasted the 2023 version of Slap Shot. It is a co-rec team. There are some women on the Charlestown Chiefs.
I'm okay with that.
Who are now probably the Charlestown Guardians, I would imagine.
Yeah.
At this point, or the Commanders.
The Charlestown Pudwacks.
There you go. So Reggie Dunlop, formerly portrayed by Paul Newman, is now Jake Gyllenhaal.
I already hate this.
Okay, Lily Braden is portrayed by Emma Stone.
All right, that's fine.
All right.
I'll allow that.
Here's where it gets creative.
I actually think she'd be really good at Lily Braden.
I agree. Denny Lemieux, the goalie, is now portrayed by Rebel Wilson. I don't know how. I've never seen her play goal before, but we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
I like this one. Dave Killer Carlson is Chris Pratt.
All right, sure. Fine.
Francine Dunlop, Ned's wife, or Ned's
Ex-wife.
Francine, Reggie's ex-wife. Sorry,
Yeah.
is Keira Knightley.
Sure.
Tim Dr. Hook McCracken is Adam Driver.
I like that. He's got to have his Kylo Ren scar, though.
Yes. Suzanne Hanrahan is Tiffany Haddish.
Okay.
Okay. Ogie Oglethorpe.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
Ogie Oglethorpe. Is it the guy that played Booger from the Revenge of the Nerds? Or is he not current enough?
That's pretty good.
It's gotta be.
You're gonna
either
like it.
Zach Galifianakis or Jack Black.
It's John Cena.
Okay.
Which totally works.
You know what? I'd rather have John Cena play Ned Braden.
Okay, so this is the one where I was like, I think ChatGPT needs a little upgrade. Ned Braden is Jonah Hill.
F off. this
Now,
app,
if you ask,
delete this app from your phone.
if you add
immediately.
ChatGPT questions, it says, I don't know who that is.
That's the I know who that.
I don't know who that is.
That's the I know who that is. That's,
Who's
that's the Asian American female comedian.
Oh,
she's got that one
she
show.
hosted SNL.
I believe so. Yes.
Yes, okay.
She's got that one show. Is it on HBO or Showtime? I don't know.
She's a way better actor than Dasani.
I was just gonna say, I just googled Aquafina. I just got a bunch of bottles of water on here. That's
It's
It's not spelled that way.
AWKWAFINA. Aquafina.
So they didn't cast the Hanson brothers
The Hanson brothers are not casted. No.
or
Unfortunately.
Jim Carr
Jim Carr is not casted.
or Dickie Dunn.
Dickie Dunn's not casted.
So who would be the Hanson brothers, man?
3 Adam Drivers. See, Adam Driver would fit well as. How about
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves?
Yeah, too old.
Too old.
That's a good one.
Bijan says Vince Vaughn should be Reggie Dunlop.
Oh, you know who'd be a good Reggie Dunlop? CM Punk.
Oh, that would work.
He'd be a good.
That would
he'd be a
work.
good one.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. My daughter got into this as she was like trying to recast Ferris Bueller. We recast It's a Wonderful Life, which was fun. It gave Tom Hanks as George Bailey.
I'd watch that.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah,
Can we get Billy Bob Thornton as Wanchuk?
Oh, see, that's perfect.
Yeah, because that's like when you watch that movie, if you have somebody that doesn't know anybody, you could say that's a young Billy Bob Thornton, and people be like, "I believe you."
Yeah, that is a very deep cut. He is such a. There's so many. If you've never seen Slapshot, go see it.
Yes, it is a movie you definitely cannot make today. I watched it a couple weeks ago. My girlfriend had never seen it. She bought it for me on Blu-ray years ago, and we never got around to watching it. And one night we're just like, "What to watch?" I go, "Let's watch Slapshot," and we watched it. And she was like, "I don't get it. Like, I'm like, it's not a great movie, but it's so quotable."
Yeah.
like you hear quotes from that in NHL locker rooms to this day.
Yes, absolutely.
But there's definitely some things that you could not throw in a movie today. Some questionable language, some slurs getting thrown around. This was the first time I noticed that the team bus driver, has a swastika on his helmet.
Yes, he does. Yes,
and I'm
he
like,
does.
okay,
Making it look mean.
Even in 1977,
Probably
that
not
should have
great.
been like, we probably shouldn't do that. But it's still got some amazing lines. I'm not going to quote my favorite line on the air because it has some four-letter words in it. So it's just my favorite line is about the underlining parts of certain books.
Yes.
I love that line. I love that's yeah, it's a great movie. And unfortunately, they tried to make a sequel a few years later, which I've never seen. I won't see it.
Oh, no. With just one of the Baldwins?
Yeah.
One of the lesser Baldwins?
Yes, but not the least Baldwin. I think
No, not Billy Baldwin.
I think it's
There's
Adam
Billy
Baldwin?
Ellick and Steven?
I think it is.
I think
it
it's
is
Stephen Baldwin in
yeah,
Slapshot,
yes.
too.
No thanks. Like, I never saw Blues Brothers 2000 either.
Oh, my God.
I wouldn't, because it's just going to ruin the original for me.
By the way, she recast that. She's like, name old movies to recast. It was Jack Black as Jake. Damn it, and who was Elwood? It was perfect.
Bill Hader?
No.
See, I'd watch a Blues Brothers with Bill Hader and Jack Black. That would be good.
Yeah, I would love it. Bill Hader is my favorite entertainer. But no, it wasn't him. I forget. We also did Pee-wee's Big Adventure. So
R.I.P.
it gave Paul Rudd to Pee-wee.
I could see that. That'd be pretty good.
Emma Stone as Dottie.
Just loves Emma Stone.
Jack Black as Francis. Amy Schumer as Miss Yvonne, who was not in the movie, but she was in Pee-wee's Playhouse. And I liked Lin-Manuel Miranda somehow was Large Marge.
I was going to say, who played Large Marge? That's a weird.
Yeah.
That's
Large
weird.
Marv.
Large Marge.
I guess so. Anyway, it was fun. It's just a fun little experiment. It's a dumb time killer when you're stuck in traffic with your 13-year-old daughter. Speaking of dumb time killers, we'll be back tomorrow at 2. Make sure you join us there. Mario will be back, and we will talk about all sorts of hockey frivolities. Thanks to Steven for running the show. On your way out, please smash that like button for us.
And a shout out to our hero of the day, Lawrence Benedetto, for bringing in the Johnny's beef. I've been tasting that this whole episode. It was delicious. It was my first Johnny's beef in many, many years, so thank you for that.
Well, I did want it. So here's the story. Lawrence brought in Johnny's beef. I saw he put it in Slack. Hey, I'm getting these. I'm like, oh, well, my daughter's here with me today. Came to the West Loop thinking we're getting lunch, thinking we're getting something good. So I'm like, I'm going to pass. We're going to get lunch together. So we're driving down Randolph, and I go, Addie, what do you want? She's like, I want to go to the Global McDonald's. So I skipped Johnny's Beef for McDonald's. This is only the second time I've wanted to disown my daughter.
It's the things you do for your kids. That's why I don't have any.
Did you at least get something unique to that menu?
No.
Come on.
I didn't. It was all like, the only thing that makes it different is like the sauces. She had a big, what was it called? Like a big and tasty chicken. It was all right. It had like big tasty sauce on it.
It's better than a small and flavorless chicken.
I feel like
That's
they have
true.
some good dessert stuff there.
She got a caramel, like a little tiny caramel donut that was pretty good.
Okay.
So, yeah, I just, I'm a Nuggies guy, so I was a little disappointed. Should have gotten a beef sandwich, but it's all right. We'll make up for it. Anyway, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. We'll talk to everybody tomorrow at 2 on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.